Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is MAVERICK.
I'm angry, low, low, low.
And folks, for our next coverage this week, we are taking a look at Slutsk East and a real Mavericks on the battlefield, Rang. What's he bringing and who's he fighting against?
On the left-hand side in blue, we have Scherwi playing as 5th SS Panzer with a Maverick income, which is quite surprising. And on the right-hand side in red, we have Cramoxis playing 3rd Canadian with a balanced income.
You know, at the end of our last cast, we talked about the virtues and, the negatives of bringing mortars. We actually start the game with a 2-inch mortar out in the field.
Yeah, I'm liking this quite a lot. The 50, the support tab mortars are not bad because they're really cheap. They have quite a lot of ammunition, and for being, like 15 points, you really can't go wrong with them because they can definitely get their money's worth in just a few barrages.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen a couple of them, actually. It's oh, wow, wait. We're seeing a brace of tubes in the middle. I'm really surprised by how many are actually being set up here. But Maverick income. Why the heck are we gonna see the Maverick income over here from the Vikings? Like, what's going on with that?
I have no idea. I mean, it's a very risky income because, sea phase, you essentially have nothing. And we're gonna have to see if Scherwi will be able to play off that offensive game early. He does have some C phase units, which I think if you are gonna play Maverick, is pretty much not many points in getting C phase, especially having a C phase Panther card. He's not really going to be able to afford a Panther at that point. But what we are seeing is a pretty heavy push up north here.
A lot of Mozzies coming in after that pack 40, so that's going to be a dead pack 40.
Yeah.
I like seeing the Boita, yes, you see this here. Not because there's going to be that much in the way of tanks to be killing over here on the Canadian side. I mean, yes, we know that the Shermans and the Fireflies and things like that. But I like having those assault guns. The artillery's been very helpful in kind of pounding down all of that lighter equipment.
Yeah, and actually, I believe they're actually cheaper compared to the Soviet run. I don't believe you have indirect fire, which is the reason why. But still, 30 points for a vehicle like that is not bad.
No, it is not. But we are seeing down south just a big push. Very, very quick setup. Taking over the forests here just to the north of that water. And that's going to be a hard position to break. Not because, there's a ton of cover, or not because of anything really like that. Rather just because there's really no attack avenues to it. Yes, you can come up the slope, but good luck freaking getting it in the first place. With mortars there, you can just lay down the smackdown pretty much whenever you want to.
Yeah, it's a pretty good position that Cramoxis is getting into, because once you hold this hill, it's very hard to lose it. You just slap a few 6-pounders here from Cramoxis, and you can pretty much deny a huge area to the enemy, and actually start putting pressure down south into the town.
I am surprised that the mortars have not already been asked to start pounding against those Flammenwerfers, which would assume to be the most general positions. So the Flame Troops, the P-Grants in the southern town, but I guess it is probably better for them to be aiming for stuff as opposed.
Yeah, the 2-inch mortars you want to really have a direct target you want to shoot at because they don't have a whole lot of splash damage. They're pretty direct fire weapons.
I think it was 190 making a run over here on a Mosquito, and shockingly enough, I really thought the Mosquito was going to get the worse than that, but no, not to be the case even remotely.
Just a little tickle from 20mm.
Probably a good way to put it. Wait a second, Jagdpanzer does have has indirect fire.
Does it?
It's got
No.
it's got the assault gun arc, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, it has the assault gun arc, but it doesn't have the indirect fire. It's a little bit misleading, so to speak.
It's like yes, but also no.
Can't figure out the Russian technology of shooting over hills.
You know why? Because we attack the enemy in the front. Which is why shit don't work. But that's besides the point. Scherwi over here has completely dominated the north, and you can see right now 6-pounder being brought on in desperation, Sherman being brought in a couple of years. Well, to kind of back this up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see, I thought I was going to see a dead Jagdpanzer there, but no, the sightline's not too conducive to be engaging. Oh, no, now he is.
Yeah, I really do like seeing this heavy northern, it's not super heavy, but still a northern push here, because this can actually work out pretty well if he does manage to get a good defensive position to the town. Scherwi definitely has some good not anti-tank, but tanks, as you can get some Panthers and B-Phase and some Panthers, which will do very well against the majority of the Canadian equipment, apart from 17-pounders and Fireflies. But still, this could work. It's definitely could work.
Not by having quick, dumb losses, though, of P4s. Yes, but the Panther, you don't want to go and set that up against the Sherman.
Yeah. Yeah, but actually, I mean, he's going to get into town, the Pioneers at least, but losing that anti-tank is definitely going to hurt him quite a bit. But he does have the flag for now, which is all important. You definitely want to get some reinforcements up here. Probably some more tanks to try and secure out the position.
You know, if we're looking at Collins here, we are seeing Scherwi is definitely being a little bit more drips and drabs all over the map. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's a really strong idea, or are you kind of saying to yourself, dude, concentrate your forces in punch?
He's gonna need to concentrate his forces on punch with his income type. I mean, Maverick, at this point, you need to be just really leading the charge, and down south and in the center, he's definitely a little bit more on the back foot, yeah, to setting up defense. Up north is where he's really gonna have to try and make his punch work. He does have that +1 lead, which is nice at least, but with Maverick, he needs a +2.
Oh, absolutely, I would think. And he's got to get better air cover out here, because that mosquito's just going to eat him alive.
Yeah,
blood suck in just every direction.
Yeah, he doesn't... Yeah, he actually has decent air cover in A-phase with the Flag 37s.
Well, even use the Focke-Wulf. I mean, the 190 here, yes, come in, blow all your rockets on the mortar position, on tanks, on anything. Fire at anything, doesn't really matter. Free it up, and there we go. Okay, so the Focke-Wulf is back in.
Oh, I think the Mozzie's gonna go
very
in.
Heavily armed. Yikes.
Oh no, he's gonna bugger off just in time.
Well, the other one's coming in right now, and yeah, I'd still be booking it too.
Yeah.
4 20 mils and 4 Brownings.
On a wooden aircraft.
And
What were they
the
thinking,
freaking
Con?
nose, too.
I know. The nosy little bugger, that's for sure.
Well, you know what? That's definitely one rhinoplasty I don't want to be meeting the surgeon of. That guy's a nasty bugger. Defense groups, in the meantime, being deployed here to the south. Of course, defense groups, kind of a misnomer. They don't really defend anything.
Yeah, they defend what is soon to be your own graves, really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these. There was some mocking thing that was called by one U.S. Oh no, it was Leo Majors. He was going out to go find some zombies. And the zombies was the term for all like these these defense groups. These kind of cherries walking into the front line and just would not be able to deal with themselves. Defense groups are kind of like that. They're there just to kind of get walk point and get shot.
Yeah, just to slow down the enemy a little bit.
They are less political air stuff trooping.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the Mozzies are still flying about, and the lack of anti-airs is gonna allow him to fly around and bugging pain in the arse here. I'm actually surprised he hasn't done any strafing runs with the Mozzie yet, because in 420 mils you can't really go wrong with shooting a few infantry targets.
True. True, or heck, even going after those anti-tank platforms would be more than enough as well. We are seeing that this southern hilltop here is starting to fold. The mortars being really, really close to the front lines, unfortunately, does mean that they don't quite have the same oomph that they would normally have. Of course, I say that, and a Sherman's going to come to the front lines, and that Pioneer should really consider another line of moving to a different zip code. Yeah. And there's your strafing runs.
Oh, I'm liking this push system Scherwi quite a bit with all the Panzer Grenadiers. I hope he goes a little bit more aggressive than them rather than just stopping where he is, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Getting into the town nice and deep, and yeah, I see securing that town area is pretty good. He does actually have pretty good infantry because it is 5th SS, so
yes.
Yeah, securing this town would definitely help out quite a bit, because then you can try and isolate that hill.
And therein is the rub. 6-pounder being brought on in, not sure I really like that. I think the rifles Piat are even kind of a bad call. I feel like Piat, you want to go and put them in this northern thing, just north of the bridge. It sucks to lose maybe a couple of those flags in the south, but if you stick a 6-pounder back by this, Orthodox much better position, more as opposed to trying to jam it down here in the south.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that you have down the road.
Yeah, this is actually going really well here from Scherwi. Manson to knock out the Sherman. He's got all the reinforcements being brought in. Half tracks against the Canadians is a really good call because Canadians don't have a lot of anti-tank rifles. They actually have none, if we're being factually honest here. So you can just gun down all those rifles.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you consider a recoilless rifle to really be worthwhile.
It didn't even have the M.
You're right. What did they term it? It was a spring.
It's spigot mortars. That's what the
Thank
Fiat
you.
is, which is
Thank
essentially just launching a massive mortar type
Nerf
shell. Yeah, it's like when it was really crappy like Nerf guns, which is only a single shot essentially. You just have to like cock it back every time, but you're shooting a massive heat shell instead.
I will tell you, I think back when I was a kid, back in, they brought out one of those giant Nerf guns that legitimately, I think now, was probably inspired by the Piat, and it was probably twice as effective as the stupid thing.
You see, the Commonwealth really just should have been equipped with giant Nerf guns to deal with the enemy Panther threats.
Just yelling "bang" at the enemy. Yeah, exactly.
Call
right.
your hits!
Exactly.
Cheaters! I got you on
ref.
camera!
And if nothing else, the Commonwealth turns around and makes, a boatload of money from the YouTube contracts. Mozzie, in the meantime, he's gonna stymie the breakout for half a second, but I think it's really just until they get a couple of get parts up, or this Flak 38s. There we go. Actually, no get parts in this one, excuse me. I'm sorry, that was back on Tuesday.
Yeah, Scherwi getting that nice and slow plus runner on to B phase, and he still really needs to try and get that +2 and make some sort of major, breakthrough happening. I feel like he could actually pull it off here. I mean, if we're looking in the center position, he has a bunch of Panthers lined up to go over the hill, and there's not a whole lot of defenses here from Cramoxis. He's bringing some 6-pounders and some Shermans, but not a whole lot of infantry to secure all the important town sections.
True, but he is still getting caught out in these defilade 6-pounders.
Yeah.
And therein lies the rub, as the bard might say. But even if there's still a Stug down there, there's still a Vernikstungs down there. Not for nothing, this is where the Stug is glorious. I mean, we've talked about this. The Stug is the cockroach of town fights.
Yeah, they can be a huge pain in the
assault
ass.
guns are cockroaches of town fights.
Engage
me head on.
Yeah, if you position them smartly and leave them on the road rather than trying to be aggressive with them, then yes, they can work pretty well. Because in the offensive town fight, those Sherman's range, those stabilizers, man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you see right there, Sherman 3 going down. The Vernikstungs, I feel bad actually for the PBIs here because the PBI is just getting crushed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
No, yeah, the Canadian infantry, that's not really doing all that well. They've just hadn't... I think it's just all the mechanized armor has definitely proven to be a huge pain in the ass for Cramoxis. Because you can't really deal with it as Canadians unless you use your Shermans effectively and your rifle Piats to maybe try and blow up a tank, if that's even possible.
Hey, we're actually going to see the Hero Panther being brought on in. So, folks, start your watches now, 1340. So, place your bets. Is he going to die? Is he not going to die? My guess is probably yes.
Yeah, let's give him 2 minutes at least, to be fair.
Oh, you're going to give him that long? You're a generous man.
I know. It's weird. We don't really see hero German tanker units as in terms of heavy tanks as often. It's not like we're seeing Michael Rittman all the time.
Not anymore.
Oh.
Well, we've made fun of him too much.
Yeah, people realize the errors of their way of getting a hero unit just means they die faster. It doesn't mean they're actually better.
Well, I think it's kind of like Orc theory. If you have a hero unit, he's going to attract a lot more fire.
Yeah.
So.
It's true. It's very true.
And there's a doozy of a fight here. We have a DD Sherman 6-pounder and a Sherman 3 all engaging one little P4. And at long last, he decides that discretion is a better part of valor. Where the heck is the rest of the Luftwaffe? I mean, looking over here at the Canadians, they have a potential of, 12 planes to the Luftwaffe's 5.
Yeah. You don't get a whole lot of planes, to be fair, but I think it's mainly just... Safari needs to get some bloody anti-air on the field, because these mosquitoes are just continuing going to be a pain in the bum. But
Yes.
it's still not going terribly towards Ferrari. Does have that +2 lead now, and he is starting to really build out that concentration of that. Will be, powerful to say the least. I mean, that Panther's going to be a rather nasty customer to try and deal with.
If and only if he can keep people at that 6-pounder away. And when you lose, you're losing tank after tank to that thing. Like, yowza.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a good call for an aircraft to blow up said 6-pounder. Speaking of aircraft, Focke-Wulf just got fucked.
Yeah, and he pretty much hit the bridge, but
Yeah.
But not rendering it probably a good idea. In the meanwhile, Germans continue unabated, bringing another Panther Fuhrer over here. He's got another 3 minutes really, before he's about to get focused as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our income disparity is like 70, 80 point difference. Yeah, almost an 80 point difference between both, and that will hurt Scherwi pretty hard. He needs to, probably get out that other Panther that he has in B phase now, which is what he's doing. And then just try to trade efficiently, grab that territory, and then hold until relieved.
Certainly very accurate, but I think it might be the longest day for him until he gets relieved.
Yes. It will be pretty long, because once that C phase hits, that is absolutely brutal.
I'm just trying to see, looking down to the south, I'm surprised there wasn't another tank or two left down here from the Canadians to try to reverse the momentum. I understand the predilection of sticking a bunch of material, though, back up here in the center. Like, this is where the main point of contention is. If you can stop this and reverse this on the other side, push back across the liver that is this hill, you might liver a little bit longer.
Yes, and the Panther hero is engaging. It is a Firefly nearby, and that Firefly likes blowing up heroes, that's for sure.
Oh. And the Spitfire's here too, so that's going to be really bad.
Yeah. Gonna get suppressing hit, and... Oh, not even. Panther actually being pretty tanky here.
Well, at least he's living up to the name.
Sherman's gonna flank around, Joe.
There's still a P4 right there. And the one thing about this that, I mean, I would not want to get caught out in a bridge, but that bridge at least means that he can only really be shot from the front to begin with.
He's starting to reverse
not
the
anymore,
side, yeah.
Yeah.
It did expose his side armor. And there we go. You said like 13 minutes he came out or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, like 4 minutes, it's not
Better than
terrible.
most, actually.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
We are seeing that concentration of armor in the meantime, by the way. So, Panther Fuhrer, 3 P4s, and a Panzer, excuse me, not Jagd Panther. That is a metal fist that's going to be impossible to stop as long as there's any kind of scouting in front of them.
Yeah. I do like how Sperry's only recon Panthers. When you get recon, you might as well go, hard hitting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not even tongue in cheek like that. I feel like that's the way you use them anyway.
Yeah.
Panthers, they're gonna be so expensive in the first place. You must have put some recon optics on them, because otherwise they're just awful.
It's actually pretty cheap, only 120 points. It's not too bad. I mean, they are cheaper in the Panther Fuhrer, but is the Panther D is slightly worse compared to the other Panthers. But still, it's not a terrible price for having such a such a big gun and just throwing some binoculars their way.
A Panther Strike team coming up here down Sherman from behind, and yep, I was gonna say he better be able to get a kill from that distance.
But with all that income being brought into that Panzer Fist in the center, the southern flank is completely collapsed here.
Yeah, I think that's why I was just bringing a couple P-Grens, just kind of, support again. Panther coming back down here. With this Armored Fist moving in, though, it's a Firefly moving in. Not sure good old Joss Whedon over here is going to have anything to say about it. I think he's going to get canceled after a couple of shots. Just like that show, may it rest in peace.
Yeah, Firefly is not going to be in the best position to really take advantage of his very long and powerful gun. Oh, Panther goes down.
The Panther went down. Shockingly enough, the Piat killed it.
Ow! It is shocking. There's another Piat being brought in. He's going to get shot off, I think. Another Panther goes down. This is not looking great here for Scherwi. He definitely a little bit too aggressive with his armored push without having infantry to cover, and he's definitely paying the price.
Yeah, he's paying the price for an instant, but he's still pushing forwards. And despite the fact that there are potential of another 12 Shermans being levied his direction, which I'm sure, there's one coming in now, second coming in from the south, and a Mosquito maybe coming in to try to pound that P4 into paste. Still terrifying, as now there's five more tanks being brought on in. Like, that's absurd. That's actually absurd.
Yeah, we are now into sea phase though, so the wallet is looking a little bit tight for Scherwi. He's really gonna have to try and make, you know, the resources he have on the field work right now. He does have a lot of tanks, like we keep saying. But is he gonna be able to get them into good positions? I mean, I feel like right now, without the infantry backing them up, not so much.
Well, and maybe a good idea here would be actually deploying some artillery for a change too.
Artillery's also nice too.
P4 going down. Really, if he can go and at least stun up that anti-tank gun, okay, killing it's even better. He has very little to worry about now. That Panther D up front, unless there's a P-out rifle team coming through, he's got that. He's got it. You can't scratch him.
Yeah. Yep. Now the Panzer Grenadier is being brought in to try and secure the southern center. The southern flank, not center. Yeah, actually looking at Cramoxis' lines, you're actually pretty barren too in the central position. It's like a few rifles here and there, a Sherman scattered about.
Well, despite the fact of him having a balanced deck, he doesn't really have a balanced diet of troops.
Oh, I feel like he's been trading pretty inefficiently in the southern and center position, and that's the reason why he's not doing too great, which is a great position for Scherwi to be in, as he has a larger balance of power over these positions right now. You know, with time, Cramoxis can definitely build up a large fire base, and that is what he's doing. He's got 1 and 2 17-pounders being brought in, and with the lack of real proper recon here from Scherwi, the recon Panther doesn't really count. A 17-pounder could probably make a big hole or two in some Panthers.
Where's the second 17? Oh, down to the south. I was
Yeah.
like, where's that second 17-pounder? Yeah, but he's got 5 minutes to do it.
Oh yeah, it's quite a hassle. It's not a whole lot of time.
And 17-pounders, mysteriously enough, don't have great legs.
Oh, they don't.
I mean, they got curves for days, but if you're a leg kind of man, you don't want an anti-tank gun. You want to get tracked.
Yeah, you wanna get an Achilles at least. Firefly, you know, preferably.
That's true. That's true. But if you are worrying about the Achilles, there's a whole lot of foot issues there too. Something about the tendon, the heel, it's a real pain.
But yeah, Scherwi's still doing pretty good Joe early on in the sea phase. He has a whole lot of troops being brought in, mainly just infantry, but it's nice and cheap, you can afford it. And this infantry is all he really needs to get this push going.
So 17-pounder pays itself off, takes out one of the recon Panthers down in the south. It's not going to be enough, though.
Yeah.
Here's a thought. And again, this is one of those things that, of course, we get to play with God Vision here. What about if he had taken 5 squads of rifles, super cheap, very inexpensive, put him to the north where he's got 1 dude right now, Proventure, and then just drive west? If nothing else, you freak the Germans out. And maybe you can buy yourself a little bit more time.
No, that's a good point. I mean, as we've seen, this northern flank has been very quiet recently after that initial push. And yeah, as for God Vision, it is pretty barren from both sides. And I mean, yeah, really, both sides really could have taken advantage of doing a cheap push up north to try and grab some flags, because everything is just being funneled into the southern flank.
But I think it's one of those things, too, that we have the benefit that we do. Ooh, VF5 being brought on in. Don't think it'll be there in time to actually get any kind of barrage off. But the idea is kind of cute. But the VF5 being brought on in, I think I think that's just the natural human tendency. You know, someone's shouting at me here, I want to shout back here. I'm not going to engage the other side of the map if I don't have to. If I can beat him back, therefore I crush his main area of resistance.
Yeah, that's true. It's just a classic tunnel vision conundrum of, oh, Eugene games. It's been around, not even just Eugene games, but RTS games in general. It's especially apparent here because usually a lot of well, not a lot of 1v1s, but how decent amount of matches do end up playing out is just everything's going on over a small flank of the map because both sides are just focused on pulling all their forces into one small area because they're trying to push it without maybe trying to, I mean, there's still 50% of the map you can play with, and you can do some pretty good maneuvers as it's pretty unguarded.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you like First Rush, you're getting shots off, but not doing a whole lot.
I'm sorry, I was watching the duel between the 17-pounder and the Panther. And... did he get the kill there? Yeah, I think he got a kill. And outside of that, too, geez, first an off-map as well. Okay, so off-map 140. Man, not too shocking there. The southern town is completely inside the Wehrmacht's hands. And I don't think that's going to change for the rest of the match here.
Yeah, I feel like Scherwi just has enough momentum to actually pull itself with Maverick income, which is quite impressive.
Do you think we're going to see some more crazy gunslingers then because of the success here, or do you think it's just a flash in the pan?
Flash in the pan. Vanguard is like the better choice because you can still get a similar amount of income in those first 20 minutes without having to risk the terrible C phase. You just have a bad C phase with Vanguard. But he did,
Yep.
yeah. But the main thing that Scherwi did is that he traded efficiently, especially towards the end of B phase, which allowed him to get that nice +2 lead, and then just, I mean, he's slowly losing stuff now. He definitely does not have as much in the field, but he's still managing to trade just enough to really slow down Cramoxis to having a superior balance of force.
True. True, and I think that's the thing that we need to kind of note here. Is on Tuesday we complained that material that was spent wasn't spent efficiently. We had stuff that was being deployed to another part of the field, that's being deployed to another part of the battle. Like the battle space just wasn't an active part of the conflict. And here instead we had this huge Panzer force that, yes, it took losses, but it was at the actual Schwerpunkt, if I can kind of use the World War II term, of the entire engagement on that southern hilltop.
Yeah, he managed to trade really well with the Panthers. Not Panthers, but Panthers as well.
Mm-hmm.
As rare as the Canadians, massive rifle spam, and it can get pretty difficult dealing with a whole lot of armor. And I do feel like he definitely could have been better at that Schwerpunkt. He definitely made some rookie mistakes of pushing in that infantry support. He probably could have got more territory if he said infantry support. But it did its job in the end, and he's going to get the victory nonetheless, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Exactly. I mean, in sincerity, it was well played to both sides. I was actually surprised that Cramoxis was able to get as many Piat kills as he did.
Yeah.
But that's feat for a few minutes here. It could have been over as early as 22 or 23. But I feel like the surprisingly heavy Piat deck, now that I'm looking at it, usually you see the rifle leaders with Piats and that's it, because why bother? But a lot of rifles with Piats in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good choice to bring in because they're really only other infantry anti-tank, so you might as well. But there we go, 29 minutes on the dot, and actually pretty close in KD, only a 400 or so difference.
Well, it was the Mosquitoes and a couple of Shermans that kept them in it. So you can see that first on Bastion over here, a fair number of kills. 6-pounders doing decently well, just not able to trade with the numbers that were needed. Excuse me.
Ufo, holy moly. German?
Yeah, that was the southern one that took out the, Nicolosi Lek over here. Really, really well done. Certainly paid himself off. There you go. Rifle Piat, Wilkinson. Panther Fuhrer and a half-track. Solid. Really solid. Rifle Piat, taking a Pioneer. I mean, like, a lot of the Canadian material was trading well. It just needed to push that KD just a smidge more.
Yeah, he wasn't. I think a lot of that KD was a bit more towards the end of the match.
Fair.
Well, he really needed to get those important kills in the end of B phase, and that's when everything just of his just sort of died.
Fair. I will say, I do like seeing the stroke over here on the other side of Poopsel rather well. Hook, this the MG42 to the above him. Or Hauk, not really sure. But no real crazy standouts on either side, other than, like, maybe one dude here or there.
Yeah, no, like, you know, Vet Panzer 4, Vet 2 Panzer 4, or Panthers really hogging the kill boards there. It's a pretty, spread out affair. I mean, the Jagdpanzer SU-76 did pretty decent, knocking out some infantry and even a Sherman.
Yes. Yes. But hey, you know what? Strong performance by both guys. Unfortunately, just wasn't enough over here on the Canadian side to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat there. So, close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
Folks, we're not saying you should smoke, but at the same time, if you have mortars, you should definitely smoke. Until next time, though, then, I'm